Sometimes I think the difficult part about this session here on Thursday is that I have really gotten over last week and moved on. And I know you guys probably got a lot of questions about last week's game. It's hard to win. I know Freddie has laid it out on the table. It's hard to win when you have as many penalties as we had as a team, most importantly, even as a defense. I believe we had 7 of those. And then the explosive plays over the top, which you can't do in the National Football League. So had a good practice last couple of days. We're excited about where we are, looking forward for this opportunity that we have in New York. So with that, I'll take your questions.
Can you talk about the fact that, the news that hit yesterday that Sam Darnold isn't playing, Trevor is starting the game, and what are your thoughts on that whole situation and Trevor specifically?
To be quite honest, we really haven't put a lot of thought into it. And what I mean by that is that our plan is not going to change our approach. Trevor Siemian is a quality quarterback in the National Football League. I competed against him before, coached against him. So he's more than capable of stepping in and making things happen for the Jets. So our approach is still, we got to do a great job coming in there, executing our game plan, and, regardless of who's that quarterback.
What are things that Trevor brings to the table that you guys are going to have to account for?
I think he's smart. I think he can read the defense as well. I think he can make every throw. He's very poised in the pocket. So I think he's going to do a great job of trying to manage the offense.
How do you correct that? And, what causes those type of penalties? And then again, from your perspective as a coach, how do you correct that? It just seems like it's a prevalent thing around the NFL.
I think number one, it starts with just lack of discipline and technique. We got to trust in our technique. Our corners, our DBs, even the linebackers are very talented, very skilled guys. Is that when they're in a position, I call topping under route, when they're connected with their receiver, they got to believe in their technique and not reach and grab. So it's just a point of emphasis that the coaches have been emphasizing, as well as myself, all week long. Believe in your technique. Don't grab. You have great ability. Just use your skill set.
Were you particularly disappointed in Miles Garrett for the clock across the face mask, seeing as though he's a defensive leader for you and all of that?
We're disappointed in all the guys from a standpoint of selfish penalties. One thing that we can't tolerate is pre-snap and post-snap. We control those, and that to me is just a lack of discipline. So that's out of his character. We got to put team first. He understands and knows that. So within that drive that they scored on, I think we gave them 4 penalties, really 5. We had 2 on 1, which I think was a result of 35 yards. So, you can't beat yourself in the National Football League like that. These teams are too talented, too skilled.
Coach, what's the main lesson or the main emphasis when you went back and looked at that 75-yard screen with your guys and make sure you don't get hit like that again?
I take full responsibility, number one. I would definitely say that first. I got to do a much better job putting the guys in position to be successful. Within that play, we had a couple of technique things that we probably could have, limited damage from a touchdown if we were in the right position. But looking at that call, I probably could have called something else in that situation to, again, put our guys in a better position. So I'm always looking at myself first. And that's one thing that I emphasize with the coaching staff. We got to do a much better job for us coaching and putting guys in position to be successful.
Le'Veon Bell, he's a great receiver out of the backfield, has the ability to make those kind of plays and all other kind of plays. So how do you combat him? How do you prepare for a guy?
Well, a guy that talented, you just got to do a great job of really, corralling the ball, getting 11 hats to the football. These guys do a great job with yardage after catch, and he does a great job yardage after contact. And point of emphasis has been that, we got to do a great job corralling, tackling the ball carrier, and making sure that we just don't assume that he's down.
So you talked about the holding, and then he gave up the one deep completion. Did that seem like an uncharacteristic game for him?
It definitely was. You know, I thought he was in position. You could see the acceleration there when the ball was in the air. You talk to Damaris, he'll tell you that he probably needs to stay a little bit more in the middle of the field as well. On that look, I thought we actually had a play when it went up in the air. But again, quarterback made a good throw. Receiver came down with the ball. So Denzel, as we all know, is a very talented player. I think he's going to bounce back this week and have a good game.
When your players on defense are kind of complaining about some things that happened with the way that Greg Williams used them and sort of talking, before a game and the week leading up to the game, do you address that, or do you kind of leave that up to Freddie?
That's Freddie's approach, and really, to be honest, again, a lot of respect for Greg. I know Greg. I don't really worry about the past and what has happened there. I think as a coaching staff and even as players, we've moved on. I know some things may have been said the other day, but I really don't get caught up in that, to be honest.
Brings such an energy and a joy to you guys. I mean, how do you think? I mean, presuming you might not have him, how do you know, who brings that now? Or?
I think as a team, not just as a defense, as a team, I think, we have to really corral and circle the wagons and really support one another and really support him from a distance, very sad and tragic situation, as we all know. And he does bring a lot of energy. His passion, his enthusiasm each and every day in the building, on the field is unparalleled. So, but right now, we're thinking about him in a different situation. I know he's thinking about us as well. So I think all the guys are going to step up in regards to that, for trying to bring the energy and really go out there and play hard for him, because I know he wish he was here as well.
We talked so much about your defensive line. Was it as dominant as you hoped it would be last week? And I'm guessing not. And if so, what did Tennessee do to kind of neutralize those guys up front?
I thought we did a good job really stopping the run early. If you look at, how we played the run in the first half, I thought it was great. Guys came off the ball, violent hands, linebackers played downhill. As we mentioned early in the year, teams are going to do certain things to try to combat our pass rush with the kind of guys we have up front. And I thought they did a good job trying to neutralize it a little bit with play action, the boot game, those kind of things, trying to get us going sideways. So, again, starting with me, we got to come up with different ways to be creative in how we're going to attack certain teams. And I think we're all right in that situation now moving forward, and some of the things we're going to try to do.
What kind of traits do you look for in a guy when you're going to put him primarily against a slot receiver? So like a TJ Carey or someone like that plays a lot inside.
I think it varies just based off really the individual. But in regards to a slot receiver, where most teams put their maybe quickest guy, the guy that can operate out in space like Crowder does for the Jets, you're looking for a guy that has that same skill set, man-to-man skills, a guy that can really, play with zone eyes, good anticipation, good instincts. And I feel like we have the two guys that fit that mold, in TJ and Eric Murray.
Coach, with the Darius Taylor out, who do you have ready to step up, fill that role?
A lot of confidence in the linebacker room. When you look at Mack, you look at Taki, those two young linebackers that we drafted, I think, would be in a position to be able to step up in that role. Joe, as well as Kirko, has been playing outstanding. So I'm real pleased with where the linebackers are. We got to find ways right here to create takeaways on the defensive side of the ball. That was really the difference in the game last week. When we look at, we didn't take the ball away, and they did.
Doesn't have any stats in the sheet. Were they doing something to him, or did he? I just didn't know how you explain that.
Well, he didn't really have I guess, a very splash productive day, but he did some good things when you really watch the tape, And again, a lot of times what they were doing, max looks, two-man routes, leaving the tight end in the back end for his max protection. So it's going to be difficult at times to be able to get there when they try to turn protection to him or they chip him. So, again, being creative in what we're doing and trying to find ways to neutralize that.
What does Gennard Avery have to do to get active and to contribute to the team?
I don't know if there's anything that he has to do per se, like you push a button and he's out there. I think, again, it's a week-to-week performance with all the guys and who we feel needs to be up in the 46, you know. So I think he's doing a great job in his preparation. His performance in practice is good. So, again, it's just a process of what we need that day based off what the offense is presenting.
Greedy played, and do you still see kind of rotating him and Team Mitch in there?
I think Reed played well. When you go back and really look at the film, did a great job. Didn't make really any splash plays, but he did his job. You can see him in the run game, coming up, making tackles, very effective in the pass game. And again, being a rookie, the lights wasn't too big for him. So I think that rotation is still fluent with him and, Terrence right there, Mitchell. I think both of those guys are doing a great job. So we'll continue to rotate those guys and see exactly who steps up.
Bell obviously has established himself as an explosive runner. How do you slow a guy like that up, or at least limit the damage he's able to do against you?
Playing disciplined football, guys doing their job, staying in their gaps, all right? Making sure that we leverage the football because at any time he can get onto the perimeter of the defense. So as we've been talking all week, it's just about really execution. This guy's dynamic, as you just mentioned, in the run as well as the pass game. So 11 hats to the football is going to be the key for us.
A lot of your pass rushes throughout last week, this close, just almost got home but didn't quite get there. And I think some of that probably has to do with the nature of how Marcus Mariota plays the position. But how do you close that gap?
I think it's complementary football, number one. They're close, so we got to make sure that we're a little closer on the back end to make them hold the ball, a little bit more. We talk about that all the time, trying to complement one another. Good coverage is going to make the quarterback hold the ball. Good pass rush is going to make the quarterback get rid of the ball quicker. So that's going to be the key, complementary football. And the biggest thing with us this week, I know they like to go over the top with Anderson, number 11. We can't give up the big play like we did last week.